Now the high wire may take care of high jumping critters, maybe not, I don't know. But the idea was to run a hot wire along the bottom to take care of rabbits and anything else that wants to hop through there. Problem is we don't have any electricity available, so we're going to power the hot wire from one of those little $20 electric bricks. I've been meaning to bring a GFI outside the well house so I don't have to go inside every time I want to run a drop cord of some sort. So what we're going to do is we're going to come out here and drop one down, put it on the outside, put a weatherproof top on it so we got drip proof, put the brick on the side of the house here, screw that in, then come up with a hot wire, run it across, catch the corner, come over here, catch our tall post, jump down, and run the white tops all the way down to the fence. Now I have plenty of slack in those lines right there, one of which is the lighting circuit, one of which is just a general receptacle down there. I'm going to take the receptacle, which is down there right there, you see it? I'm going to take off of that because there's nothing but a little bit of a little power transformer there, very low wattage. I'm going to take off of it. I'm going to put a junction box right about there. And then that's what I'm going to power that little outside GFI that we're going to run the little brick off of. I have some Romex here, actual Romex brand. I bet you didn't realize, you hear a lot of people talk about Romex. Oh, give me some Romex. A lot of time what they're talking about is NMB, which stands for non-metallic branch circuitry wire. So Romex is actually a brand like Coca-Cola. A lot of people in the South say, buy me a Coke, when they may mean Pepsi, RC, whatever. But Romex is a brand just like Coke. So we're going to come down here, out here, along the wall. We're going to stub up with a piece of PVC, run it down to a weatherproof box, put our wire in that with our GFI, come up, and we're going to splice in, and that'll power our brick. Now there's the J-box I added. Now if you notice, this is one that's made for Romex or NMB. It's screwed to the stud, so we got a nice sturdy connection there. We are stapled in, routed a little bit different than initially planned because it just was a little easier to work through standing in the hole on the ladder. But I do want to point out, when you make the joints, make sure that you use a proper size wire nut or other approved method. Make sure that you use a box big enough to take the number of conductors you're going to use. And let's see if I can spin around here. We came in over there, moved it a little bit further to the corner of the building, not a big deal, and you can see it stubbed up right over there. And we just have a weatherproof receptacle in our little 2-mile brick. Carry up to a little plastic insulator. Then we go across down to where we run across fence. Now what I'm going to do, this is temporary. I've got a cedar pole I'm going to bury right there, cement in, concrete in, and get a little bit more height. That's only about 6 foot there, and I can reach up and get that with my hand. I don't want to do that. I don't think anybody's going to hit it with their walking through, but I'm going to get that a little high. But that's good enough to keep the deer out now until we can get some more height to it, which will be next couple of days. And then what we do is we just run right down toward the fence. That's our little jump over. That works out pretty well, just so you can get over the gate. Mama don't like to mess with it. They make a little spring gauge that you would normally just take the wire and disconnect temporarily while you go through there, but this works out better for her because she doesn't have to mess with it. We just come down here. As you see, this is going to be a devil to keep clean. But if you want to keep a rabbit out, you got to go where the rabbit's going to go, and that's going to be down low. Let me show you how we tension this. Now how we tension it is like that. See that end solid connected down there on the white insulator. Come right down here to the bottom. Come through that insulator, through the standoff, through a standard ratchet action tensioner. We come up, go around, making a good 2 rounds contact through a crimper. Goes up, goes to that little ceramic insulator, jumps up, goes to that one. Now we just set the garden out not too long ago, before about 2 weeks worth of steady rain. You can see it puddled in there. Now, gate's a weak spot. Deer could crash this, but hopefully they won't test it. That's what the little red, orange flaggy's on there for. Nothing fancy. But see, we just took some little rabbit posts, cut the ends off, screwed them in, painted over, put a little barbed wire on there, and now we have a tall gate. Hopefully that will fool the deer in not testing that. The rest of it is just 3 strands of high barbed wire up high over a 4-foot field fence. So the rabbit wires is the bottom. Let's look there. These are in the line ceramic units with little turnbuckles there, and we just took the wire and crimped them in at the 2 ends. You really only had to do one side or the other. I did them both just because I had the time and was bored. They run down here and run around the perimeter. That high wire helps keep perhaps deer or whatever from leaning up against the fence. So the end product is a 6-foot high fence with barbed wire at the top. Now deer may jump over that, but if he does, he may end up hanging his heritage on that wire. I don't know how tall they jump, but I can only do so much to keep the deer out of Mama's garden. Now this is a new fence. We put it up for Mama, so my beloved there can grow herself some tomatoes and vegetables. Let's take a look at that structure. Okay, if you notice on most type cattle fences, they'll run a kind of little H configuration in between solid posts. If you notice the little concrete puddles, these have been concreted in. The concrete mainly is a way not of weighting the post, but a way of making a good solid hard connection to the undisturbed soil that you have when you dig a post out. Now, do you see that diagonal wire that runs here to here? What that does, that's what's called the brace wire, and it works like a tent post. This one then is a pulling post. See, it sits right up here like a tent post, and it's anchored down at the bottom. This is about like a big super fat tent stake, right? So this is in tension. So when you pull your fence wires pulling back that way, it's pulling that. It's not going to compress the post, so it's going to want to tip the post out. It's not going to want to pull it at the dirt. It's not going to want to pull this one out. It's very solid. It also works to pull against this one if all this is solid enough, because it can't compress this larger 4-5 here against this one, because in order to try to collapse this structure this way, it has to then pull this fence wire, this brace wire right there, and that's difficult to do, and in which case this fence post is merely holding it up. So with that one diagonal wire is capable of making both this post pull harder and that post pull harder.